Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Can we talk about Gem and the Holograms? Oh, who is that unfamiliar voice in your ear?
Who is it?
Who is it? It's us, the Can We Talk About podcast. We are a podcast that is doing the slow Metal Gear Solid 4 microwave hallway crawl straight toward the end of our current subject.
I like that. That's a good one.
I forgot I wrote it that way and nearly broke up laughing in the middle of that. It is a show we are a very dear friend of. That neon nightmare, that pastel phantasm, that oh so frighteningly fashionable 80s cartoon air quotes classic Gem and the Holograms. The word help isn't in my vocabulary. I'm Kristen.
You could pick up the pieces of the synthesizer. My name's Joe.
And we are watching Gem and the Holograms via Shout Factory's Gem and the Holograms Truly Outrageous Complete Series box set, as well as the wonderful world of Netflix. Hey Joe, what you been watching on Netflix?
Kristen, I rewatched the Matrix trilogy recently.
Wow! I didn't expect that!
Why is that wow? It was there and I was just like, it's been a while since I've seen the Matrix movies.
I haven't put any percentage of my brain at all within the past 10
years maybe?
Yeah. Toward the Matrix at all.
It's one of those things where I saw it and I'm like, So I watched them, and first one, it's really weird to be just like, you look at 1999 and you look at the Matrix and it's like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. I'm comfortable with this assessment.
And then the Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions were shit.
I could not tell you what happens in the third and second movies. Like, I know the plot of the first one perfectly. Have no idea what goes on in the sequels. Like, I could give like a trilogy quick analysis to they say Neo's not the one, but he totally is. Boom. But then actual events, plot beats, things that happen.
It's weird because
no idea.
They put an inordinate amount of time. They focus a lot on Zion in the second and third movies, and they really shouldn't.
I don't know what that is.
That's the human city outside the Matrix.
Oh.
They spent
I have no idea.
Fucking 25, Kristen, in the Matrix Revolutions, Neo fights the dude that fucking Smith possesses or whatever outside of the Matrix and gets blinded, and then we take fucking a 30-minute segue for them fucking everybody in Zion, all these characters that we do not give a shit about fighting these machines, and it's just like, it's action just in your face and it's just like washing over you, just like, fuck.
The unimportant fight scenes I definitely kind of remember, but that's sort of it. And I know there's the white dreadlocks guy.
If they just focused on the shit with like Neo and Smith, would have been fine. Hugo Weaving, Kristen, the only good parts of the second and third Matrix movies, other than maybe the fight with the twins, is pretty good. And it was like anything involving Smith, because Hugo Weaving is fucking, he's so good.
He has a good face. I'm a fan. This week we have a real change of heart on our hands. This is the episode where Minx is the new blonde lady going bazonkers, and is pretty well documented as one of my very favorites from season 3.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's been a while. I feel like we can accurately describe this as yet another roller coaster of an episode.
To say the least, I would say.
It was written by my mom, Christy Marks.
Is she?
Yes. And you can see her beautiful fingerprints, her motherly fingerprints, all over this episode.
It's weird to think that, like 2 or 3 episodes, whatever the last episode Roger Slifer wrote, I was just like, did Roger Slifer write this episode? No, Christy Marks wrote this episode, of course.
You know, they're 2 peas in a pod as far as writing Gem episodes go. Aja had so many lines in this episode, I nearly drowned in my own tears.
She had like 6.
It's so much more than usual. Do you have anything to add before we kick things off here, Joe?
I am ready to jump off this goddamn podcast, Kristen.
Let's go to follow the synthesizer.
Me and my friends are Gem girls. Gem is my name. Exciting adventure, fashion, and fame. Once you're a Gem girl, you're never the same. Come on and be a Gem girl. Gem is my name. Me and my friends are Gem girls. Gem is my name. Truly outrageous, that's a Gem girl. Glamour, fashion, and fame. Exciting adventure, fashion, and fame. Once you're a Gem girl, you're never the same. Come on and be a Gem girl. Gem is my name.
So, Krista, we start off here. This episode was written by Christy Marks. We, as you said, we've already made the joke about, like, not knowing who she is, and I can't think of another. So,
she's my mom.
Good mom joke.
Your mom, too, by extension.
And, Kristen, this episode starts the exact same way that the last episode did.
Buzz Dixon is dipping his toe in here, too, huh?
You hear that straight up brow. It's like, oh, the real me's starting again. Wait a minute.
Nope. We're at the electronic trade show, ETS.
And not the fashion show, yes, the ETS, of course, E3S. E3. We're there at E3.
I guess so.
Kristen, Rio had to be dragged to a fashion show last week, and now he's dragging Jericho to the Lights convention.
This is relationships. Compromise.
They're fucking around with synthesizers here. Jericho's just kind of like, whant, 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 and some lady comes over and is just like, oh, I see you're very keen on this one. This one has a velocity-sensitive keyboard.
And Jericho goes, no, I'm just a stupid woman. Tell my boyfriend about this.
Jericho calls Rio a technical genius, and Rio, like, fucking puts his hands on his hips, chin up, fucking smirk-ass smirk on his face, just like, yeah, I am.
That's me. Technical genius. The superhero who's very boring.
Jericho pieces out. She's gonna go take a look at the business computers for business things.
Oh my god, as opposed to personal computers. Help! Ugh!
1989.
It hurts. So, Minx is also fucking around with synthesizers. I assume somewhere nearby in a booth adjacent to the other synthesizers. Who knows? It takes her a while to smell Rio out.
The dude here is just like, oh, I see you like this one. This one has a full megabyte of memory, which Kristen. 1 megabyte of memory. Now, maybe that's impressive for a keyboard, but I believe the normal floppy disk of that era is like 2 megabytes, 1.44.
Oh, no.
If anything.
It doesn't even have a slot for floppy disks. So Minx kind of like leans over to the guy and she's like, oh, you're so cute when you say your stupid nerd shit. And Ryan and Rapture come over like, are you done here?
Minx is just like, I'm not interested in this shit, and calls it a piece of junk and kicks it, which causes a dissonant chord, which is not how synthesizers work.
I love it.
Riot is bored. So he's just like, I'll leave too. Maybe I'll go check out the business computers for business things. Oh no, I just imagine Riot like wearing a suit. But like an open jacket and a tie. He is definitely like the cartoon equivalent of Chris Hemsworth character in Ghostbusters, where he is just hot and that's kind of it. Rapture notices Rio and points this out to Minx, and Minx is just like, whatever.
Rapture goes, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't peg you for a quitter, since expositionally you would know Rio is the only guy you've never been able to have sex with.
And Minx needs to try and fucking back up her shit. Or just like, I can have any man I want. Fuck you, that's my thing. You can't take that away from me.
Unfortunately, I can have any man I want is my one-sentence character trait.
Kristen, Rapture was willing to risk her life for her character trait. What about you, Minx? Huh?
Let's watch and find out.
Minx tries a different approach here, Kristen. She walks up to Rio, and she says hello, instead of the normal thing, which is suplexing him into a bed via his dick.
Yeah, so Rio doesn't make a distinction between those two things. He literally just kind of looks up and goes, oh god, oh, it's you again, which is so rude.
So much for new fucking strategies, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so Minx doesn't love just being told to fuck off.
So she starts firing off hot synthesizer facts, much to Rio's surprise.
She's like, oh, well, you're a stupid American, and I've been building synthesizers since I was 14.
It's all we had to do in Germany.
It's true, we didn't have Jenga. Weird.
It's the first day of kindergarten. Build your own synthesizer. Do it.
Yeah. I tried to pull back into what I did as a child and came up with Jenga. I mean, they didn't have video games either, so I guess I was kind of on the right path.
Rio's actually been thinking of building a synthesizer for himself so he can learn more about them because of he's a fucking technical genius. Why not?
Go for it. It's like building your own PC, but boring.
And even then, building your own PC, kind of boring.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, the finished product is also way more boring when it's just a synth.
Minx starts fucking firing off more shit here. You'll need VLSI chips, custom-made shit. And it's just like, give me your notebook. I'm going to draw you a diagram of a synthesizer. She draws a square, and it's just like, yeah, there you go.
I'm going to draw you a map, which just has a booth number on it for which booth to go to.
A map that leads right to my bedroom.
Yeah, I tricked you. And Rio goes, no! She put a synthesizer underneath the box that was propped up with a stick. And she pulled the string and she caught Rio.
Rio walks into a room where there's just a lump under the covers, and it's just like, is this a synthesizer? And he pulls the covers away, and it's Minx!
Surprise! She's just wearing a synthesizer.
We fade to later on here as Minx is still giving Rio some pointers, and Jericho arrives politely asking, what the fuck is going on here?
Rio takes his hands away like either A, he was burned, or B, he was like, see, my hands are up here and not on Minx's body.
I did put it as if he looks like he got his hand caught in the cookie jar.
Basically, he wasn't doing anything, but Jerica's tone is enough to make him shrivel up.
And it's pretty fucking... Jerica, I don't know if she's jumping to conclusions or something, but she's just immediately just... sees. I mean, okay, she sees Minx, and we've seen fucking Midsummer Night's Madness. We know that...
Minx is a sore subject when it comes to Jerica.
Minx standing anywhere close to Rio, she may as well already be fucking him.
Yes, Jerica's not a fan.
Rio, of course, he's defending himself. Like, no, it was just synthesizer talk, I swear.
And, just trying to pass that... Oh no, what's the yard line? To get a touchdown? The 0?
You could just call that the threshold, I guess.
Trying to take it into the end zone.
There you go.
Minx in front of Jerica is like, I can tell you a lot more if you take me to lunch.
She showed her hand too early, Kristen. This was the fucking worst time she could have done that.
Nope, she almost got there, but no touchdown for Minx.
Rio maintains he's still not available and leaves with Jerica here.
Rapture slides in from the side.
She was doing God knows what this entire time.
She was looking at business computers. She was like at the section of the show that has all the dumb fake magic crystals. So she comes over and she's seeing Minx alone goes, how'd it go?
And Minx is just like, it was close. Jerica arrived 5 minutes too soon, and that ruined it.
Kind of seems like, yeah. Rio
I mean,
seems a little bit into it. I don't know if that's him just being horny for synthesizers.
I was going to say, I think Rio's horny for synthesizers and not for a blonde woman in a big hat.
He's an idiot.
Then again, Jericho was wearing a very big hat in this episode.
Ooh, battle of the hats.
Minx does not fret, however. Her next place of attack will be at the Lindsay Celebrity Beach Bash, Kristen!
Yeah! Joe, is this the last episode that Lindsay is in?
It might be. Shit, she might show up in A Father Should Be.
I don't know. I never know anymore, so I'm paying attention to, like, every single thing. Like, we see Clash and Jeddah in this sequence.
Like, did you know that we're done with Synergy and we're done with Tech Rat already? That old Houdini Magic was the last time Tech Rat was in the series.
Oh, holy shit. It's too real. It's all happening. Is Stormer done?
Stormer probably gets something, like a line. She's gotta get a line.
I know all the Misfits show up in the last episode, but I don't know if they say anything. Yeah. I know Pizzazz does.
Lindsay introduces the Beach Bash here, Kristen, now broadcasting live from a beach made entirely of cocaine.
I built it myself.
Lindsay promises fun in the sun with our fave raves.
Whatever that means.
And of course, the first person she heads towards is Jem, who is sitting under an umbrella. And Lindsay's just like, why aren't you soaking up some sun, Jem?
And Jem says, it's because I'm a hologram. And that's not how light works.
Also, they recently learned that the Jem hologram intensifies sunlight, so Jem can probably only spend 5 minutes in direct sunlight without losing half the water in her body.
Underneath that hologram, Jerica is just shriveled up like a raisin.
Riot arrives at this point and pretends that he and Jem are a couple in front of the TV cameras.
He goes, Lindsay, don't we make the perfect couple?
And then Beach Bully Pizzazz arrives kicking cocaine directly into Jem's nostrils.
I was so happy to see Pizzazz again, and for the one thing that she does in this episode, to be kicking sand directly in Jem's fucking face. It's like, yeah, she's back!
Pizzazz wants Jem to stay the motherfuck away from Riot because Riot is her man.
And instead of Jem saying something reasonable, like, I'm not dating him at all, so fuck off, she says, oh yeah, Pizzazz, do you have a bill of sale?
Fuck off?
That's a terrible thing to say, like, for a couple reasons.
Riot takes this all in stride. He's just like, oh, this is wonderful. Ladies, please. And then he gets pushed down into the fucking sand.
Yeah, I like that part, too.
And Pizzazz goes, if I told you once, I told you a million goddamn times. And then song number 1 of the evening. This does a weird thing, Kristen, to where I think the other 2 songs of the episode, they do the whole, like, we
said the title, and now here's the song.
Are you feeling all right? It's too much. And then this one is just Pizzazz just like, I don't have time to fucking say out of my way. I'm going to start...
Out of my way.
Song number 1 of the evening, which we'll be playing for you right now.
In memoriam.
Out of my way.
Out of my way, keep out of my way, out of my way, I ain't playing around. Out of my way, keep out of my way, out of my way, I got to cover ground. I got what it takes and I'm on the attack, going after the prize, and nothing's gonna hold me back. Out of my way, keep out of my way, out of my way, or you're gonna pay. Out of my way, keep out of my way, out of my way.
This is the last, not counting the very last song of the series, which is all 3 bands. This is the last single Misfits song here, which, poetically, Kristen, was also the first Misfits song.
I know. I also just have makeup in my eye right now, but I have some tears going on here, and it just feels appropriate, even though they're just because I keep rubbing more mascara into my eye.
Pizzazz Kristen starts off here suddenly having sunglasses. She just has
One
them.
of her innate abilities. When she needs to look like she is ready for fucking business, schwink, sunglasses.
We've seen before in Mardi Gras, she has magic sunglasses sometimes.
Yeah, one of her many talents that goes unexplored, because there is never a pizzazz-centric episode either.
Not really.
No.
Not really. Anyway, what follows is a comedy of errors here. Jem and Riot running away from Pizzazz is just trying to get at... It's fucking...
It's not really a music video.
It's much ado about nothing. Again, it's fucking people chasing each other, pretty much.
Yeah, there's some cartoon crabs that are pretty cute.
Krista, Pizzazz falls down, I think, 5 times in this music video.
She lost all the skin on her face.
All that goddamn cocaine.
Yep, just rubbing it right in. I don't actually know what the texture of cocaine is like. It could be gritty. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Do you think I could Google, is cocaine soft? And get the answer I'm looking for?
I mean, people cut it with, like, flour to, like, shit with people, right?
I don't know if that's a real thing.
They tried to do that in It's Always Sunny, when Charlie and Dee got addicted to cocaine.
Yeah, I think that might be a good example of why you can't necessarily trust that information.
Anyway. It starts Kristen, like I said, she falls fucking 5 times in this thing. She trips over a beach chair and gets up, and there's a crab that's, like, right at her feet that...
It brandishes a knife.
As she's running over it, it fucking snaps at her toe.
A big beach riot ensues for the most part. A lot of it doesn't actually matter. We see some crowd shots. Jeddah and Clash are here. Did you say you saw Stormer?
I thought I saw Stormer. I thought Stormer was in that same shot with Jeddah.
No, that was Clash. Unless you missed Clash and I missed Stormer.
Yeah, Pizzazz throws the crab off of her here, which hits some girl. The girl starts chasing Eric, who is here too, I guess. And, yeah, Stormer and Jeddah, or possibly Clash.
Who knows?
In order to hide from Riot, Kristen, here we go. Here it is. Jem turn into surfboard.
MVP!
Pizzazz bowls over the fucking limp lizards as they're in the middle of a photo shoot.
You can tell that they're limp lizards because they have stringy hair and their bathing suits look reptilian.
They got scale suits.
This must be the final appearance of the limp lizards too.
Oh no, they never had any lines.
They never got an episode!
Riot hides from Pizzazz behind the surfboards, which all get taken. And
it is worth pointing out, the surfboard thing wouldn't be nearly as funny as it is if, after Jem turns to the surfboard hops to the side.
Yes, it
To
does.
camouflage itself with the other surfboards. That's what makes it hilarious, is it's a hopping surfboard.
Jem turns back into normal between the two as they're turned away, I guess. And Riot looks incredibly scared facing down Pizzazz.
He knows that he is fucked up for the last time, and when she catches him, she is gonna kill him.
Her eyes even sparkle when she's chasing him.
Going in for the kill.
She also trips and gets 2 eyefuls of ice cream here, Kristen. Fucking fall number 3 for Pizzazz in this music video.
So there's a child who is upset, and Pizzazz cures the crying by putting the face ice cream into their face.
Putting the ice cream back in his mouth, they're probably just stupid with cocaine.
Sand and cocaine.
Jem turns into Pizzazz and kisses Riot, which sends him running back toward the real Pizzazz.
She still had to kiss Riot in this scenario.
She did, and she didn't look like she was like bleh after it or anything, so...
Jem. Come on.
Pizzazz trips for the 4th time in this song, and this time the crab is back and it clamps her nose, and the song ends right where it begins. Pizzazz's sunglasses are gone because she no longer needs them.
Nope, and she just says, I'm gonna fucking kill you, Jem.
She needs to be held back by Riot as she threatens to pull out Jem's hair by the roots.
The roots of the holograms, which is an even more violent statement somehow.
And Lindsay chooses this moment to be like, oh, those wacky rock stars.
And Lindsay's not even angry. She's way too high to care.
Minx approaches Rio here, Kristen, and is just like, hey, you want some alone time to talk about to talk about the synthesizer?
And Rio is like, Minx, you're not fooling me. You don't actually want to help me. Please go find someone else to score points on.
Minx calls Rio a creep and throws a volleyball right into his solar plexus.
Ouch.
She storms off here. Rapture's just like, what's going on? And Minx is like, the fucking Rio. I wouldn't help him if he were on fire.
So she's going for an angry swim. And I think swimming is one of those things you're not supposed to do if you're angry. Like going for a drive.
Unless you're Nicolas Cage in Drive Angry this summer.
I guess so.
What the fuck year did that movie come out?
I have no idea. So she walks by like a big driftwood sign that says, "Don't swim, dangerous undertow."
It's like comically large too.
Very big. So that she goes over, gets into the water, and Rapture just turns around as if something has suddenly summoned her attention and reads out loud from the driftwood sign, "Don't swim, dangerous undertow." Oh no!
So she turns to Minx here, and Minx is just like, what? As a giant fucking wave comes up behind her.
So I guess the ironic thing here is that if Rapture hadn't called for Minx, Minx would have seen the giant wave coming to kill her. So this is Rapture's fault.
Kristen, the instrumentation to it could be you as playing in the background while this is happening.
Why? Why bring back the worst song suddenly?
So, Minx gets fucking snapped up by the undertow here, pulled out into the goddamn ocean. Kristen, these stingers cannot catch a fucking break. If Riot nearly drowns next episode, it's gonna be we're gonna be 3 for 3.
A drowning hat trick.
We cut back to Jem and Pizzazz and Riot here, and Jem's just like, Pizzazz, you can have Riot. And Rapture runs over, and she's just like, Riot!
Clearly in distress, she's like, help! And Riot goes, Rapture, fucking leave me alone.
I'm not gonna deal with your scamming bullshit, not today.
Man, this is going to be a pretty deep cut, but this is like the flashback segment in Heavy Rain where you figure out who the origami killer is.
Oh, no!
Just, Rapture trying to get her drunk dad to save Minx. And then Minx turns out to be the origami killer.
The fuck?
So Rapture then runs over to Rio, because women can't save other women. And there aren't 5 holograms available to try and form a human chain to help Minx. But says, like, yo, Rio, Minx is gonna fucking die. And Rio says, okay, if this is a stunt, I'm gonna be very angry.
Thankfully, he sees Minx actually drowning out in the ocean and just like, oh shit.
Yeah, that lights a fire under his ass, doesn't it?
So he jumps into the water with no socks on, thankfully.
It took 2 seasons, but he redeemed himself.
Lindsay is finally the one to break up the fucking Jem, Riot, and Pizzazz struggle here as she's just like, something's happening.
Cameras keep rolling. This will reflect very well on my brand.
They see Rio swimming out towards a drowning Minx here. She falls under the water and Rio calls out her name. End of segment 1.
Now is a good time for me to point out that this episode is well-paced.
It is. It is.
When I got to the end of segment 1 here, I was like, what? Already? Like, I could have sworn that the do-gooding happens way, way faster.
Nope, it follows a very fine structure.
Everything's spread out super evenly. Thank you, Christy Marks. I love you, Mom.
Segment 2 starts here with the same thing happening of Minx falling like under the water and Rio calling her name once, but now we've entered an alternate dimension where Rio thinks quicker before the commercial break and swims underwater, grabbing Minx and bringing her ashore.
Very deep water, too. Don't think the ocean looks like that underwater. There's basically Atlantis down there.
A lot more garbage in there, probably.
Yeah.
Rio brings Minx ashore here, gives her mouse to mouse, which garners surprise from Kimber and Aja, which, were you just gonna let her die?
Quick question, why'd you call it mouse to mouse?
You want to talk about a fucking deep cut, Kristen? That's going all the way back to Fooly Cooley!
Oh, jeez. I rewatched that recently.
There's a joke about that where, you got the fucking kiss is chew, and chew is the sound a mouse makes.
Oh.
Mouse to mouse.
Puns. I know I've told you this just in normal conversation before, but it is very satisfying when you get a pun in a foreign language. Me and Madeline were watching an episode of Game Center CX. It was the Ocarina of Time 1. And
nice.
One of the boss battle breaks that they had was for Twin Rovas. And the king's commentary was Twin Grannies. And I went, oh my god, that says Twin Obas. I understood the translation and what the original joke was.
There you go.
It just felt very nice.
So Minx starts, coughing up and just like, she's fine, she's okay. She had her brush with death here, and immediately just is like, oh, Rio, I owe you a life debt. I can't believe you helped me after how shitty I was to you and everyone.
Right away, Rio looks super uncomfortable with this life debt idea. He's like, no, you don't owe me anything. Hey, kid, just be a little bit more careful next time.
There we go, a perfectly fine response from Rio. Just, hey.
Fuck no, though, that's not good enough for Minx.
From this day on, I'll make up for all the harm I've ever done.
She's gonna be working for a while.
Minx is raving about how she's gonna be nice and helpful, and Rapture is just like, oh, you poor thing.
Oh, she's all fucked up in the head, and even Riot's like, oh, she had way too much sun and sea. She'll be normal again tomorrow. Let's go home. Let's quit it with this nice nonsense.
So we fade to the next day here. Rapture says Minx should have stayed in bed because the Stingers all just kind of standing around looking like they're going to practice. And nope. Minx needs to make amends to everyone she's ever hurt. And Riot is just like, Minx, you still in your bullshit? Because this is, if this is you trying to nab Rio, it's really out of character.
And Minx, who has been starting a clipboard list of all the nice things that she wants to do, is like, no, I just want to help.
And then she runs out, and I really like Minx's beret here with like the fucking wood pieces hanging from it.
It has like little decorative pins all over it that have like jangly parts. I love it.
Yeah, it's nice. Anyway, Rapture is concerned that Minx is serious here, and Riot's just like, our Minx? Oh, shit.
Egg all over that face.
We got to Starlight music here. Rio is in his office, I guess.
Okay, we're 2 episodes from the end and now we're seeing this?
It's the synthesizer headquarters.
Pacheco Inc. We make synths.
He's drawing up diagrams here. Minx just walks in. I don't want to... Kristen, how did Minx...
Knock knock, hello.
Sexy blonde woman.
They just let me in. I didn't need to show ID or anything. Your security sucks.
Are you Jerica? Whatever.
She's blonde, close enough. And Rio also is like, ah!
Rio does start off kind of giving her the cold shoulder, and just, it's like, it's like, no, I'm serious how I want to help. And he's just like, I'd really rather you forget about it.
But she has some diagrams that she drew of circuits or something, and just starts spreading them out. And Rio, man, he sees anything that has to do with electricity, and he's like, oh, wow.
Also, Kristen, I really bet Jericho was giving him the business for going mouse to mouse.
Cool.
So Minx shows Rio, yes, some things that he can help to improve the design. We get another fade here to the exact same scene. The exact same thing happens here, where Jericho walks in and Rio's just like, ah! And he stands up immediately and it's just like hands up in the air like, I'm not doing anything!
Synthesizer! That's their code word.
And Minx immediately apologizes to Jericho for all the bad things she's done, and Jericho's just like, I appreciate it, Minx, but you'll have to excuse me for being very skeptical.
Yeah, like, Minx, can you blame me for not believing you, like, right off the cuff? So Rio was like, Jericho, we should talk for a second here. Talking, Joe.
Rio says that Minx has been very helpful and didn't try to make a pass at him all afternoon. Maybe she has changed.
Or it's her best scam yet.
Rio says that brushes with death can change people, and, why don't you give Minx a chance?
All right, so they walk back in. Minx has just kind of been standing there, I'm sure, with, like, her fucking skin on fire, being like, how to help? And Jerica starts to actually have, like, a direct command, but says, okay, Minx, why don't you, like, come to Starlight Mansion later? But Minx cuts her off to go, yes! I would love to!
I've got all these things that I want to do!
Thank you for exposing me to your orphans.
We cut to a license plate, Kristen, that says IWILBGD.
So I guess, like, right up there with the things that Minx wanted to do in order to reverse her karma was get a new vanity license plate.
That's I will be good, I'm guessing, for those of you who didn't follow my very slow spelling there.
Can you fit I will have sex onto a license plate?
I'm assuming...
Ooh, IWILFCK.
Hey, there we go.
That's my new vanity plate.
Minx's car looks like a DeLorean, too.
Going back to the... Germany.
Don't go too far back.
Nope. Please don't.
She's outside of Starlight Mansion here, coming in with all sorts of presents for the orphans to make up for what happened during the Stingers hit town when they stayed here previously.
Can I say real quick, what happens after these gifts are distributed is absolutely not Minx's fault.
A lot of the shit that happens here is not Minx's fault.
Guess what? It's primarily the orphan's fault.
And the holograms, too.
So, Minx is a good person.
Minx is like, I got some toys, and Ashley comes right up and he's just like, oh shit, a ray gun! I'm gonna zap Deirdre!
I'm gonna go stick this right up against Deirdre's head and make her see God.
So at this point, Mrs. Bailey, or anybody, should have been like, okay, be calm about it though, or you're gonna get that shit taken away.
Now that these toys and snacks have been distributed, I should watch to see how they're affecting day-to-day orphan activity here. No one gives a shit.
All the orphans start fucking running in here because they want the cool free shit, and a Gem and Company are just like, let's head somewhere a little more quiet, Minx.
So they're in their music practice room, and Minx says like, oh wow, you have so much equipment here, but do you have a burglar alarm? I mean, you live in probably the safest area possible, Beverly Hills or whatever, but have you ever thought about how people might rob you?
Jerica doesn't even say she barely says fucking 3 words, and Minx is just like, no, I'll install it. Don't worry about it.
Because after the, like, oh, you don't have a burglar alarm? I'll install it. Jerica's like, Minx, you don't need to do that. And Minx goes, I'm gonna do it!
We cut back to the Stingers at this point. Rapture and Riot are giving an interview to some lady. Rapture is just like, I have this crystal ball that comes from ancient Atlantis,
She got her idea from when Minx almost drowned.
as opposed to modern Atlantis.
Very different things. That's Atlanta.
Would it be, Kristen, would it be more impressive if Rapture got something from modern Atlantis?
I guess it would kind of be. It's like, whoa, what's that? I've never even heard of it before.
It lets me see the past, the future. It lets me see that all of Riot's ancestors were of royal heritage, men of power, some other bullshit.
Boop boop question.
Yes.
Couldn't public records also tell you that?
Minx arrives at this point, Kristen, and lets the cat out of the bag almost immediately, telling the interviewer that Rapture bought the crystal ball last week, and Riot's grandfather was a Welsh coal miner!
That's not high class at all.
Riot, understanding that's not high class at all, stands up and is just like, this interview is over! Get the fuck out!
So they usher this tape recorder microphone lady out, and they're just, and once the door is closed, they just turn to Minx, and they're like, Minx, what the fuck?
I was just trying to show you the virtues of honesty.
And Riot, more angry than he's ever been in his entire life, goes, honesty. And his brain nearly explodes.
He goes, whatever, it's time to practice. Maybe some music will clear your head, Minx.
So Rapture sits Minx down at her keyboard and says, well, play something.
If you're so fine, play something. And what Minx plays, Kristen, is basically like hold music.
Yeah, it doesn't sound bad. It's just like not 80s pop rock.
No, it sounds like something you're waiting for your fucking turn in line, calling the cable company, and it's just some weird electric organ garbage.
Yeah, not great.
And Rapture and Riot are covering their ears here, and Riot's like, that's horrible. What's the matter? Are you feeling all right? And then Riot gets a fucking slap for his trouble.
And that inspires him to sing.
Song number 2 of the evening. Are you feeling all right? You seem uptight.
This song isn't great.
I kind of like Are You Feeling All Right? It's an okay song. It's a song that has Rapture and Riot concerned for Minx here, clearly. One that seems like it's tough to... It's one of those songs where it seems like it's tough to be used in a different context if they were ever given the chance.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see it happening.
It's like so episode conditional that it takes me out of it.
Yeah, not as much as too much, I don't think. Mm-hmm. So the song starts with, of course, Riot accusing her of not being all right. And Riot puts a thermometer into Minx's mouth, and it bursts.
Because she's hot.
And she tosses it on the ground and runs away.
This whole thing reads as Riot and Rapture being Minx's former lovers. Being cross with her.
Riot and Rapture have Minx hooked up to something that can show her thoughts here. Kristen, she has thoughts of love and happiness.
What? Gross.
And then we got Rapture looking at Minx through a crystal ball, trying to read her aura, I guess.
I guess so. What color would look best on you now? White!
That's so pure! Oh no!
Gross.
When I think of Minx, I think of the opposite of pure. Impure.
Yes, that is the word.
We've got a lot of weird close-ups on Riot's lips in this song, too.
I don't like it. Detailed cartoon man lips rub me the wrong way.
They're very luscious, and that's a problem. So the song ends here, and Minx is just like, this is how I am now. Take it or leave it. And then Take It or Leave It starts playing, and then Riot's just like, no, we're doing that next episode.
Christy Marks, I love you, but can you calm down?
I won't tolerate any more of this helping nonsense. I want the strong, arrogant, competent Minx back, so get back to that, or you're fucking out of here!
Which I guess Minx just interprets as impossible, because next week checking with her, she's like, I'm not in the Stingers anymore.
I believe she says something, because yeah, she's crying to Rio here in the synthesizer cave here, and she's basically saying, the Stingers are so mean to me! Or, no, I believe, no, it's something along the lines of they don't like me anymore, which is just so light compared to what it actually is.
Yeah, well, she says, and I have no place to go. Where are they staying? Are they still at Gabor Mansion?
That's a very good question, Kristen. I thought about that too. I don't know where the fuck the Stingers are staying.
I guess at Gabor Mansion.
If only we saw more scenes that depicted that.
If only.
So, upon being told, you're the only person I can turn to, Rio's just like, it's nice to have you nicer, but I kind of have my own life to live.
So, Minx, how can I put this?
Freaks the fuck out.
That's what I was thinking. That seems the most appropriate.
Freaks the motherfuck out.
The switch in her head labeled suicidal just flips.
It's a progressive switch. It's just like, not suicidal, pretty suicidal. Shit goes all the way up to fucking, it's happening right now.
Yeah, guess what? Good thing we're on this skyscraper. I'm taking the elevator. I thought you liked me. I have nothing to live for. Nothing.
Minx runs out and heads for the roof. Rio runs after her, and Jem's just like, what's going on? And Rio goes, I think Minx might do something rash. And she does.
Yeah, so they get all the way up to the top of Starlight Music, where Minx has her arms outstretched and she's on the ledge.
So Rio goes, Minx, don't!
She says, why not? No one cares about her. Rio lies through his teeth and says, I care very much.
And they manage to help her off the ledge here. Minx hugs Rio and says, you're all I have now. I couldn't go on living without you. And segment 2 ends with Rio like, oh boy.
We see Rio's face and the Curb Your Enthusiasm just playing.
Damn it, I was going to make that joke.
Yeah.
Segment 3 starts. Minx is working on the synthesizer as Jerrica and Rio watch concerned. They're really not sure what to do with her, Kristen.
Yeah, she can't really do anything if she's not working on that freaking synthesizer, it turns out.
She's lost all her self-confidence and can't cope on her own anymore, according to Rio, which is, how the fuck did that happen so quickly?
Call a mental health professional, maybe?
Jerrica says they gotta think of something, and then we fade to Deirdre using some kind of goo gun. That was, I guess, just part of what Minx gave to them. She thinks she's hitting Ashley, but it is Aja, as a matter of fact. And Aja is the most pissed off I think we've ever seen her throughout the entire series in this episode.
Yeah, Aja gets fed up way quicker than everyone else.
Also, Ashley runs by going, the aliens are coming! The aliens are coming!
I would get frustrated too if I had to listen to that yelling all day.
We see Bonnie and the Bears Are Silly Orphan locked in a water gun battle, but unbeknownst to the Bears Are Silly Orphan, Kristen, Bonnie has her water gun supply laced with hemlock! That's what you get for turning my evidence to a paper airplane!
So is this Mrs. Bailey's last appearance?
It's fine. No, she probably appears as her father should be, but Mrs.
I'm
Bailey
suspicious of everyone.
Mrs. Bailey tries to stop them to no avail, just like, girls, girls!
She's not in charge at all. This is what it's been like the whole time.
Terry and Chrissy are all stomach achy here because they shotgunned gallons of ice cream.
Because no one was watching them.
We fade to Jerrica and the holograms. Aja's washing her shirt here, complaining about how everything is so chaotic since Minx got here. But Kristen, she's only trying to help.
Jerrica is still trying to be warm and welcoming. But Aja is like, no, fuck this.
Bitch mode activate, here we go. Flip
She
the
swipes
switch.
her hand over her face, puts her bitch face on.
She has a few words to say to Minx.
And they're all, fuck you. So they follow Aja and into the music room, I guess, and Minx turns around with her screwdriver and goes, "Oh, your alarm is almost finished."
And Jerica, putting it right in Aja's face, is just like, "You were saying?"
And even Aja is struck by how hot Minx is. And just kind of softens immediately and goes, "Oh, I really can't be mean when she's trying so hard to help."
We fade to the front door here.
New romance! Aja Minx. Aja is better than Tech Rat.
Minx shows off how to disarm the alarm here for the holograms.
And no one writes it down!
No, and that's a problem.
It's not Minx's fault.
Jerica thanks Minx. It was a very thoughtful thing to do.
But Minx also has a very special gift for Jerica.
So Minx drags Jerica to that place from Roxy Rumbles.
Yeah, the House of Glamour.
The House of Glamour. I'm glad that you remembered.
Mm-hmm. And Christy Marks remembered. Me and my mom, right up there, together.
And Minx lays it out. It's just like, "Jerica, I didn't mean for it to happen." Long con! Long
Little
con!
bit of a lie.
Rio has fallen in love with me. So, in order to help you get a new man, I've paid for a full makeover.
So yes, it's shitty that Minx is like, "I'm sorry I took your boyfriend, but he is mine now. But I care about you and I will help you find a new boyfriend." That's thoughtful in its own twisted way.
In a way, yeah, it's in a very Stinger's way.
Uh-huh. Jerica attempts to argue, but gets like a mud mask slapped on her face. It's super funny.
We fade to Minx and Rio. Rio's standing there and is just kind of like,
Joe, let's just play out this scene.
Can I build my synthesizer, please?
I am helping you.
The whole reason I wanted to build the thing myself was so I could learn, though.
I can't do anything right.
No, you're doing everything right. It's just that, fuck.
So Rio, can tell he is walking on eggshells now for the rest of his fucking life.
Kristen, Rio, instead of just... I think Minx can probably handle Minx being a little overbearing. He just opts for, "Oh, never mind," which is not, again, talking.
Breach the subject, be like, "Okay, can you tell me what the next step is and watch me do it?" Talking! Try it, you fucking adults!
We cut to one of the orphans here trying to open the window, which...
She was gonna go smoke a blunt. She needed to make sure Mrs. Bailey didn't smell the smoke, put her in timeout again for smoking blunts in the mansion.
Kristen, all these orphans have drug habits.
And no one knows! Except Mrs. Bailey, and they are paying her to keep her quiet.
And she's got a drug habit too. It's called adrenaline.
I was gonna say, yeah, she's an adrenaline junkie. Glad that's still in our podcast canon.
So, I gotta say, I think the scream that the orphan does here is incredibly comical when...
It's really good!
All of the holograms run over to the door here and are just like, "How do we turn it off?" And Kimber goes, "I don't remember the combination!"
I wasn't actually paying attention!
That's Minx's fault somehow, huh?
Apparently. So Rio is like, "What the fuck is happening?" And just takes the front off of the alarm code pad and disengages the alarm. Has he been stealing the equipment that the holograms have?
He knows, Kristen. He's just like, "This shit is gonna fuck with me. I need to make sure that this can never be used again."
Never again. Rio Pacheco enters silently, leaves with very expensive guitars.
And Shane is just like, "What happened to my iceberg guitar? Fuck, not again!"
Rio!
I sold it for smack!
I want to take it apart and find out how it worked. I'm a tech junkie. A tech rat.
In comes Makeover Jerica at this point, looking very clowny. Maybe this was stylish in the 80s? I think she's supposed to look comically bad.
It looks like contouring with, Technicolor was apparently a thing in the 80s.
Either way, everybody is basically fed up with Minx, and they're just like, "What the fuck happened to you?" And Jerica's just like, "It was Minx!"
So Minx has the synthesizer that she has completed and just strolls on into the mansion. There is a gate. And there's a lock on it. We've been shown that. But hey, it's a blonde lady. Let her in.
She just... she goes to the gate and the gate just magically opens up.
It turns out the gate is also smart enough to know that Minx is just super hot.
She walks up to... So basically she walks in on a conversation here, just kind of right outside, it's just like, "Minx is being too helpful. This new and improved Minx is driving us crazy!"
The fact that she's trying to be helpful sucks. I wish she would be dead.
Minx opens the door and confronts everyone. She's just like, I'm driving you crazy. You don't want my help?
So, everyone kind of tries now to explain softly what the problem is, but too little too late, motherfuckers.
Except Rio.
Alright.
So, also, Kristen, Rio and Jerica's cells aren't painted all the way to the bottom of the frame, so they're drawn down to the knee and then nothing.
Nice. Yeah, I forgot about this part. Rio screams at a woman who is suicidal.
Minx is just like, I brought the synthesizer, it's done, and Rio's just like, that's not my synthesizer anymore, that's your synthesizer, you took my whole project away from me! And to compound this, Jerica just goes, Minx, it's, what's the name of song 3?
Too much.
Song number 3 of the evening, Too Much, which will not be playing for you right now.
No.
Because it's not great.
No. Hey, remember that thing I used to say about Hologram Song? It's a little phrase. Little to no rhyming.
Yeah.
Back in full force.
Don't like take a breathing spell. That's a line that does not sit well with me.
No. It's too much. Too much. Hey, Minx, get off your shit.
There's a saxophone in this song, Kristen.
I miss Jetta.
Jetta's
Who's
standing
the
up.
saxophone player with holograms?
It's
Kimber.
sitting on Kimber's keyboard.
Yep. She has like a holster on the top of her keyboard, like a harmonica holster, but for her keyboard, and the saxophone sits in that. And I don't know how she like intonates the notes or anything with both of her hands playing the keyboard, but goddammit, she does it.
So this is one of those songs as well where the visuals are basically retreading old ground. It's what was the song that did this previously? Was it Believe in Yourself?
Yeah. Hey, remember the thing you did?
Take It or Leave It did this too, where it's just like dramatized versions of what just happened.
It's a fictionalized version of that thing we already saw.
Makes us flying on a music note here. The holograms are showing off all the bad that's come from the good that she's tried doing.
Most of which is not her fault.
Rio getting angry, which Rio probably could have been a little... I mean, okay, Rio
How
getting...
he puts on his fucking adult pants. Again, learns how to talk to someone before screaming at them.
Could have been a little more assertive without screaming at her,
Yeah.
yes.
There's a spectrum.
The orphans all getting hyped on sugar and wrecking shit, which
This is
again...
Bailey's fault.
Minx falls through a note and there are 50% opacity heads all around her. We've got Jerica getting a face full of mud like 5 times, which...
Nice.
Why were the people at the House of Beauty so forceful?
Well, because they know that once that mud is on there, the person needs to pay for that mud.
Paid for, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Minx spent a lot of money, and Jerica leaving before it's all done might mean that they are not paid that lot of money.
So, again, they've just fucked with Minx, and it's not nice.
Everyone is confronting Minx as she falls through space, and the song ends with a very good part of the episode. I don't know if it's the best part of the episode, but Minx's expression, her soft, like, expression, just goes, like... like...
Oh, now you've done it, motherfucker.
to fucking pissed off.
So, you have here the Take It or Leave It starts playing again. So, Minx takes her synthesizer under her arm like a fucking football and starts running up toward the roof. And everyone's like, not again!
Fearing the worst, everyone I mean Rio and Jerica, run after her here. The holograms all run outside. And when Minx gets to Laura's room, by the way, we're back to Laura's room.
Yep.
Standing on the windowsill here, the holograms beg her not... Kimber begs her not to jump, let's be honest.
Everyone else doesn't give a shit at this point. And Minx just goes, who's jumping? And then she hurls the synthesizer off the roof to the feet of the holograms.
She's still kind of nice at this point. She does say, look out below!
So she turns around to leave now and says to Rio that if he wants to build a synthesizer, he'd spend the rest of the day cleaning up all those pieces.
Jerica and Rio look out the window, and Rio's just like, she wasn't lying. Like, no shit.
Yeah, she really threw the synthesizer. It was in her hands, and then it was gone. So she starts taking back all the toys that she gave to the orphans and uses her high heels to start stomping all over them and breaking them.
Minx, you're overreacting.
I have only just begun. And then she shoots every single one of the holograms in succession with the goo gun.
And goes, I feel better already. And Asha's just like, not again. I just fucking cleaned this shirt.
So Minx gets her catharsis.
And we fade to Starlight music. Rio is working on his own synth here. Jerica's like, how's it going? He may be slower than Minx, but hey, at least he's learning.
Jerkus says as if she's dead. It's a shame what happened to Minx. I actually liked her for a while. That's condescending and untrue.
Until I killed her.
Ooh, I killed old Minx. And they did.
They killed new Minx and brought old Minx back from the dead.
That's what you get for playing God. Rio said, well, maybe she learned something about helping people.
So we fade to a Stingers concert here, Kristen, just as they are about to play. And they start playing the beginning instrumentation Out of My Way, I'm pretty sure.
What is the obsession with this song?
Like, we're gonna do a cover of a Misfits song. This one goes out to Pizzazz.
And somewhere
Stay
off
the
audience,
fuck away.
Pizzazz goes, yeah, that's me.
And then they start playing Out of My Way, and Riot is staring at Pizzazz the entire time. Get the fuck out of my way.
Pizzazz excitement causes the lights to blow.
So Riot and Rapture walk over here, and the guy who owns the club presumably is just like, my electrician's out on vacation, oh no!
They go, oh, it's an electrician you need then. Well, Minx will be able to help with that. Minx!
And Minx goes, Kristen.
Sorry, the word help isn't in my vocabulary.
Riot and Rapture look at each other like, wah, wah, and the episode ends.
I love this episode. And that was a change of heart. They really packed a whole lot of stuff into this episode.
They really did. It's weird. Like you said, it's paced very well because it seems like Minx being very helpful takes up a lot of the episode, but it's really only like not until like kind of a bit into segment 2, but it's not the entire episode basically.
The flip-flopping between new Minx and old Minx isn't so quick that it feels stupid. It feels like she had a genuine arc there. It wasn't like plotting or like so laser focused on just Minx that everyone else might as well have not been there. I think Rhea is the only person who doesn't really talk.
And we've been down that road before. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. This had a little bit of everything. Interband drama, pizzazz, surfboards, orphans. What are we missing?
Synergy and Tech Rat.
I don't care. I wish we had more episodes like this one and less ones like a Houdini horror fetish show and Straight from the Fart.
Hey. Straight from the Heart's not a bad episode.
No, Joe, we've discussed this. More character episodes, less one-off character episodes.
Okay, fair enough. Now's the point in the evening, Kristen, where I'll list off all of the fun contact things where you can find us. You can follow us on the Twitter machine at CWTAPod. You can follow me at Octopus. That's AWKTAPUS.
You can follow me at FunnyGirlTM, like trademark.
You can find us on the iTunes, on the SoundCloud, on the Stitcher Radio. Leave a rating, give a review, do whatever you feel like. You can also drop us a line, cwtapod@gmail.com, where you can tell us all about how many megabytes of memory your synthesizer has, or how a makeover can get us any guy we want.
Next week, oh god, oh man, we're going to be finishing the Hero and Dark Stories and Sonic Adventure 2, at least theoretically.
Are you saying that you're not going to finish it, Kristen?
I want to. I am bracing myself for when horrible things happen. This will ultimately decide whether or not I finish this stupid video game by watching cutscenes on YouTube. But I'll try to be optimistic.
Kristen, I'll be honest, I watch the cutscenes on YouTube anyway, because you know how I am with notes, so I can't take that shit going real time.
I just do my best to rely on my memory and my usual seat as second man on this podcast.
Thank you for taking the lead on this one. Circumstances had it, but hey, it's a nice change of pace. It's this and Grease too. Good job.
Yep. Maybe after we finish up Gem, we can distribute the labor a little bit more evenly going forward.
For the Can't We Talk About podcast, my name is Joe.
I am Kristen.
And join us next week for Sonic Adventure 2 Part 3, going forth.
Shut the fuck up. Check's in the mail.